Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. In this episode, we look into the Adani Group JKIA deal. What is it about? When did it start? Where are we as of today? If that is a topic you are interested in, please stay tuned. If you are watching this channel for the first time, take a moment and subscribe so that you don't miss the subsequent videos. I'd also really appreciate if you dropped a comment so that I may understand your views on this particular subject. And at the end of this video, if you found it useful, please drop a like and share it with friends. Otherwise, let us move into the subject of today. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenya of late has been going through a myriad of challenges. It is one threat of a strike upon another. Anything we don't understand, we want to protest it. Anything we don't like, or our solution is protest. So today we woke up to an airport at standstill. The Jomo Kenyatta Airport was not functional. Why? Because the people who run this airport decided to go on a go-slow. Yes. They chose to strike at midnight. Why midnight? That is when there is a lot of arrivals. And so their go-slow was going to really dent and damage the transactions at the main airport in Kenya. So why were they doing this? According to these workers, the government has gotten into a deal with an Indian group, the Adani group, to sell the airport. If not to sell, to bring in somebody who is going to take their jobs. And so it is understandable. You have your job, it's where you're getting your daily meal, and then you hear there is a deal by government that is going to make sure you're jobless. It's understandable. As a human, you would be aggrieved. Though not to the extent where you sabotage your own airport or workplace, but you would be aggrieved nonetheless. The question is, are they aggrieved based on facts or purely based on rumors? I want to take you a little bit back. Days approaching the violent demos against the finance bill of 2024, there were claims that in that finance bill, there were clauses that was going to take people's land. And because land is an emotive issue, you would understand why people were angry at that finance bill. Of course, the truth is that there was no such provision in that particular bill. But the people who wanted to use it for political purposes inserted those imaginary clauses and used our media to propagate them to the villages. And within a short time, the finance bill that had a way of actually lowering our budget deficit and other things was rejected. The president had to withdraw it. I'm seeing the same case with the Adani group and the JKIA deal. So what is it about? Like I said, in this video, we're just looking at what is the deal here? What's going on? Because the information you get out there is one that is inciting and even making our workers at the airport feel disillusioned enough to sabotage smooth running of critical facility like an airport. So this is what happened. I've done my research. This is the information. Fact number one is that JKIA was built to serve fewer passengers than it is serving today. Fact number two is that JKIA, built those years ago, is dilapidated. If you live here, you've seen some journalists even taking photos of leaking roofs, even mocking us how our runways at times face blackout, and etc. The truth is that the airport is old and not competitive. To make matters worse, this particular airport had a fire incident in 2014. And so there is a temporary structure, especially on the international arrivals. It's using some tents, canvas. Can you imagine? So we have two options. The fact is we have an old airport. So how do we handle this? Do we leave it to get older and older until it is unusable? I think that is not an option, considering that JKIA is a very critical airport in Africa, not just in East and Central Africa, in Africa. This is major. JKIA actually is one of the very busiest transfer airports. So those who connection airport, that is, you come from another country, you get into another airplane from JKIA to go to other places within Africa. It's like a gateway to Africa, sort of. And so this critical installation, ladies and gentlemen, is in dire need of renovation, is in dire need of improvement, a facelift, or just a brand new thing. We have two options. One is we generate the money that is needed, maybe 230 billion. Remember, I told you, anything that is going to generate money through taxes, Kenyans are going to reject it. We don't want to be independent, somehow, for some reason. Number two, the other option is, if we can't generate the money, we borrow. But you see, if we borrow, it's just the same. You generate your own money now or borrow. Borrowing only ensures that you pay more in the end. It's just postponing a problem. If you don't want to generate 230 billion, for instance, and you want to borrow it, then just make sure that you borrow 230 billion and be at the back of your mind know that you may pay 300 billion later. So it's just postponing a problem. Nothing new, just postponing a problem. There is another way. We call it public-private partnership, where the public is providing something, a private investor injects the capital. And that is what's going on here. That is what this Adani is all about. It is a case of we have a problem, but we have somebody who has the money and the capability to do it. Let me give you an example with Rwanda. Rwanda is currently doing a very big airport. You think Rwandese have that money? No. It is being done by the Qatari government. You see? The Qatari government will own that particular airport on a certain deal. They will agree, we will own it for this long, and then later we leave it to you. I've seen people building plots, rentals that is, in the same manner. You go to the bank, you have land, so you go to the bank, you take a loan, the bank builds you that particular floor, if it is a flat or 10 floors, they build them for you, and then they take their money, and once they have repaid themselves, the building remains yours. It's being done, it's possible. It is the easiest way, because you lose nothing. Now, the Adanis have a twist. In public-private partnership, it can be initiated either way. One, the government can identify an investor and reach out to them and tell them, this is the problem we have. We want you to inject in some money. And then you will recoup your money under these terms, etc. The other one is where a private investor sees a problem. So this is a case of a private investor seeing a gap, and saying, I am willing to chip in with this particular amount. This is what I want in return. That is what Adani Group did. Adani Group, if you check even on their website and other journals, you will find that they are running several airports. Mumbai Airport, which is one of the busiest airports in the world, is being run by by the Adani Group. Actually, they own 70%. They control 70%. of that busy airport, and several others. So the issue here is not that this particular investor is incapable or does not have the technological know-how to run airports. They are running busiest airports and can do a lot. So when they reach out to Kenya Airport Authority, what happens? They tell the Kenya Airport Authority that we've seen the challenge you have with your airports, especially the main airport. It is old, it has issues, and we are willing to invest this amount of money, and this is what we will want in return. Okay? This is what we will want in return. And then the Kenya Airport Authority says, okay, fine, we've had you. But you see, these things, they don't just work. You don't just go talk to Kenya Airport Authority and then you have a deal. The Kenya Airport Authority has to take this thing to the Treasury, because it is the Treasury that will have these particular agreements and negotiations. And so the Treasury told Kenya Airport Authority to go back and ensure that that particular agreement favors also all the stakeholders. And so that is how the step is. You notify the Treasury gives you their input, they say do this and this. And so in this case, they said make sure that it involves the stakeholders also, so that we don't lose jobs, and also the people who are involved at the airport are well informed and understand all this. So these people go back. The main stakeholder here being those who work at the airport. And so they are engaged. They are told this is what an investor is proposing. They are saying they are going to invest this much. They are going to do a new runway. They are going to do a new terminal. They are going to renovate the current infrastructure installation, make it modern, and also build some hotels around, maybe to take care of the guests. Okay, fine. You've been notified the workers. And so they have their concerns. They're like, we need fine prints of these details. Are we losing our jobs in the process? What is going to happen to us as people who have been working? What are the new terms that this current employer is going to come up with? So as they are still discussing this, as you know, our airport has a lot of interest. There are people there with serious vested interest. You know why we've not been making profits for 10 years? You make nothing, because there are people with serious vested business interest there that are gaining. However dilapidated the airport is, they are making serious money out of those particular deals. So another investor coming in and taking over is something they can't allow. So what do? Somehow, they don't want to get into the details. They don't want to hear what this particular thing is. They just incite these people directly and tell them, this is bad, you are going to lose your job, you are going to do this. And now with our people who are excited, maybe on social media, this information is spread. Ruto has sold the airport. We cannot allow this. So many funny things. Yet, remember, this was a proposition that was given. And it has just been taken to the Treasury. It has not even gone to the cabinet for adoption. No. It is still the stage of negotiation, going through the fine print of what it is that Adani is offering and how much we are going to get. Because Adani is also proposing that unlike other cases where an investor comes in, they run it exclusively, and you get nothing until 30 years. No, that's not what they are saying here. Here they are saying that we are going to share profits, but in a certain ratio that at the end of, by the time I'm leaving, you will now have 100% of the profit. So let's say at the initial stage, you are getting 20%, like that until you have 100% profit, and Adani has gotten back their money, and they go. People don't want to listen to that. For some reason, there are people who are hell-bent to ensure that it doesn't work. They would rather we have a dilapidated airport. They would rather we have an airport that is not going to be competitive in the next year. You should know that. Because once Rwanda is done with their airport, and Ethiopia has just done a wonderful renovation and upgrade of their airport with the help of the Chinese. Nobody is doing this thing with their money. In our case, it was not even a loan. Our case is very different. It is somebody coming in with their money and doing this, and they get back their money, and we get an airport. And then an airport installation, even a runway or a terminal, etc. These are not things you can live with. Let's say you are tired of Kenya. Adani cannot just uproot these things and go with them. These are installations that remain with you. But for some very selfish interest, there are people who have decided that this thing will not see the light of the day. So the usual memoranda, the usual trick, the usual route. What? One, make sure that people understand that route to assault the airport. It is called outrage entering. You make sure that people are so annoyed at the president. The president, this thing has not even reached the cabinet. You should know that. It's just at still the negotiation stages. Like, we are proposing this, stakeholders are proposing this. But somebody out there is telling people that the airport has been told, and you have our media here that gladly would allow such things to go without asking questions. Because for them, for some of these people, anything that is going to bring Ruto down is fair game. So they won't struggle to explain anything. So you are told the airport has been sold. Yet remember, at this stage, people are just being told, stakeholders are just being asked what is their view. It is like a public participation stage. But somebody is saying that it is already sold, and they're saying, we cannot allow that to happen. You ask them, what is the alternative? Are you able to get us the money to renovate this? That, oh, we have money. You ask them, where is the money? I even listen to some people saying we have money enough to do free education, and you ask them where. We don't even pay tax. Majority of us fail in return, even though we make money, and you claim that there is some money. We can actually get 230 billion to make a better airport. Where from? They don't care. For them, the status quo is okay. It's benefiting them. As for the workers, these are just people who are being used, because majority of these workers are not going to lose their job anyway. There is no investor in public-private partnership where an investor comes with their workers from India. There's nothing like that. They will just use the people who are here. Maybe they will bring the technical. Like the Chinese have been building our roads here. Majority of the people working on those roads are not from China. So it's not as if this is going to be different, that you will go to the airport and everybody working there is from India. No. But people don't want to listen to that. And like it said, in communication, if you don't communicate your piece, then your opponent will communicate for you. That is why I decided to share this video with you guys, that the airport is in bad situation, and we need to repair this airport. We need to do another runway. We need to do a good terminal. And we need to be competitive. This airport is getting a lot of visitors. Kenya is a tourist destination. We must have an airport. And somebody has offered that they are going to do this. Instead of even interrogating this and giving a counter offer, we are already running with lies that it is been sold, that person is a fraud, the person is incapable. And if you ask the simple question, who do you have in mind? They don't. They expect you to fix things, but if you give a proposal, they reject it. And that's the problem we have in this country. People would say, we don't want to pay tax. We don't want to do this. But then they expect you to do certain things that you can only do if you get money from tax. They also don't want you to borrow. So that is the situation we are in, ladies and gentlemen. If you found this video helpful, please drop a like and share it with friends. And also let me know your view on this. If you have contrary information to what I've shared, if you have details that are showing that the airport has been sold, please just share it down here. Share those evidence. Just share it. Because I'm telling you that from the point of information, it is still at the stage of consultations. It has not even been approved by the Treasury, let alone go to the cabinet. It's not. And so we should not be in a position where all we have to do is to hunt for outrage against the president and against this government, and then just claim things without facts. I also think that if we take that approach, then Kenya will not move forward. Because from the look of things, people are persuaded that we continue with the status quo, while also at the same time crying that we want change. One thing has to give way. We either have change or we maintain status quo. Status quo is where very few people are enjoying life and the rest of us are struggling until Jesus comes. So the choice is ours. But I would urge you that let us always approach things with facts first. Let us verify facts. Before we jump, before we say things, let us verify facts. I would have given a lecture for all day, but thank you for this, and let's meet in the next video.